Whenever we teach some, whether I teach my subject or whether I counsel them for some other subjects as well. So that time we look at the students' problems or what are the challenges they are facing. So try to find the solution for those things. So when we are trying to do that, that time there might be a different roles, maybe as a teacher, maybe as a NSS coordinator, maybe as a director. So wherever it is a possible, I try to play my role. Some students may fear of the failure. So that fear of failure, that brings some sort of maybe a depression or maybe a psychological barrier to the student. So we try to give them some sort of maybe a counseling or maybe a mentorship, we can say. What we try to do is in the grooming them or their personality development, we try to focus on different parameters, in which there might be a soft skills, communication skills. Those are the different things. But along with that, they should be very stable with the mindset. The important thing that whenever it may be some session, say suppose we organize a session on that mental health or whatever the counseling round, that time the students or whoever attending that session may feel that immediately after the session, I should go back and I should be very confident. That doesn't happen. It is it is a process. It is a process through which we have to go.
Hello and welcome to the Wit Chat Show. I'm very pleased to be joined by the director of SIMSREE, Dr. S.S.Dhure with me right here. Jai Hind, sir. How are you?
Jai Hind. Jai Hind. I am fine, and at the utmost, I would like to thank you first of all for sparing your time over here.
No, thank you for giving us your time, because I know you're very busy otherwise. But I want to understand, at your age, to be the director of SIMSREE, and not just that, apart from that, you're also part of NSS and you have other initiatives that you do. What is it that works for you? Like, what do you think is the USP of Dr. S.S.Dhure that has been working for him, like, if you may say?
Yeah. In fact, I am born and brought up for teacher community itself, I would say. Because as a teacher, I always try to see what are the problems faced by the students. So whenever we teach some, whether I teach my subject or whether I counsel them for some other subjects as well. So that time we look at the students' problems or what are the challenges they are facing. So try to find the solution for those things. So when we are trying to do that, that time there might be a different roles, maybe as a teacher, maybe as a NSS coordinator, maybe as a director. So wherever it is possible, I try to play my role.
So I think the fact that you have worn so many different hats is why you are able to sort of communicate with the students well. But also you have a major in psychology when it comes to students, right? Yeah. What kind of initiatives do you take as a director as well to communicate with the students and to ensure that, or to listen to their problems and find a solution to them?
Yeah. Here at SIMSREE, being a director, since SIMSREE is a very great institute, we get definitely all bright students only over here. Okay, so in terms of the academics, they do well in the academics. But apart from the academics, when they go to the industry or corporate or wherever they are going to have a job or maybe self-entrepreneur, that time they have to take a decision. So while taking the decisions, they do come across some of the challenges. Maybe some students may fear of the failure. So that fear of failure, that brings some sort of maybe a depression or maybe a psychological barrier to the students. So we try to give them some sort of maybe a counseling or maybe a mentorship, we can say. So that will make them more comfortable while taking some decisions. So for that, our research cell, recently we have started with a happiness research center. Yeah. In that happiness research center, we are working on the mental strength or happiness of the managers maybe, and the students as well. So that will make more good entrepreneurs or managers while taking the decision. So when you are in a sound mind or good mindset, that time you can take a better decision than in the stressed mind.
That is actually a very good initiative, Happiness Center. I am going to speak about that as well, because I feel that not many institutes take that initiative to ensure the wellness of your mental health as well. How did you identify that, okay, we should do something like this to be able to empower the people who are in managerial positions?
Yeah. So the thing is, like as I said earlier, because the students are bright, they don't require much attention on their academic side. But what we try to do is, in the grooming them or their personality development, we try to focus on different parameters,
Right.
in which there might be soft skills, communication skills. Those are the different things.
Yeah.
But along with that, they should be very stable with the mindset. Because of this, sometimes what happens is they may not be able to express their views also.
Yeah.
So the child may be bright, but because of cannot express the views, that time we may find that they are not good enough.
Yeah.
So to overcome this, if they are confident enough, so to bring the confidence in their decision or in their behavior, we try to see that they should have this sort of research center.
But that also, I mean, as good as it sounds, I know that to put everything in place and to ensure a safe environment for people to speak and to share and to ensure good mental health is not easy. So I want to know, what are the challenges that you perhaps face while being able to put up with everything?
Yeah, the very first challenge is because since these are the points or these are the problems we have identified, but at the same time, the person who seeks that help should also realize that yes, I do require some sort of help in this regard. That time, sometimes they do not come forward, or they hesitate to say something or some problems about them. So this kind of initiatives that may boost them, or they may give the confidence to come forward with their problems or with their challenges. The other problem is the results of these initiatives won't be immediate. We require a certain period, maybe 2 years, 3 years, to come to know the results or impact of these initiatives. So otherwise, the people may say that when we start the initiative, immediately next day you get a result. That won't happen. Yeah. So that is the main challenge. We have to wait for the results or outcomes of these.
Anything related to mental health or just like psychology in general, I mean, it's not a one day thing. It takes time. But do you sometimes face a challenge with people not understanding this, and to make them understand that, listen, you need to be consistent with it to be able to see a result?
Yeah, that's the problem. That is the important thing, that whenever it may be some session, say suppose we organize a session on that mental health or whatever the counseling round, that time the students or whoever attending that session may feel that immediately after the session, I should go back and I should be very confident. That doesn't happen. It is a process. It is a process through which we have to go. So that will take time. And sometimes it is difficult to say that you are having this problem, you are having this challenge. That is also difficult, because while saying that you have this problem, we cannot say it directly. It takes time, and it may be it may hurt ego of.
That's so true. But what is your approach? So how do you approach? Say tomorrow a person comes to you for counseling, might have been going through a phase where he's feeling low or depressed, or just in general not sure of what he wants to do. How do you approach?
When somebody comes like this, directly though they don't come, we have to see the behavioral pattern or their performance, and then we try to identify. We try to discuss with them, not directly on the concern itself, maybe on different issues. So in that case, they may not open up immediately, but we may tackle the things like, see, this is not a problem. What the problem you are considering, it won't be a problem if you tackle it like this, if you look at it. So sometimes what happens is, since we allow them to be imperfect, so sometimes that perfectionist face more challenges than the person with accepting the imperfections. Because when I'm going for 95% above or 99%, that time I'm very scared of losing that 1% also. Yeah. But instead of that, if I'm allowing them, let it be 85%, 80% is also good enough. That time they will be confident. Yeah. Okay. So allowing them to be imperfect is very
with a
important.
scope to become,
Yeah.
like to achieve what they
To
want
achieve,
to
yeah.
eventually. Yeah.
So if I allow them, then they will be, yes, this is okay. This is normal things. Even if I cannot score this much, even if I can score less, it doesn't matter. So that kind of confidence, or rather, what I can say is comfort, we have to give them.
But what inspired you to sort of start this? Because, I mean, in my college, there was no one to care about what I thought or what I did not think. And I know that is the case with most of the colleges. So what is it that inspired you to perhaps take this first initiative?
Okay. So initially, I was associated with NSS, National Service Scheme, where we used to work with the community. When we used to do maybe with the students, or when we go for a camp, there we find some in villages, there might be problems with some of the people. Okay, so knowing those problems is also important for these students in the cities. So when we go there, that time we realize, that time we come to know that, see, students in Mumbai or in Pune or in any of the cities, they don't have that kind of problems which are faced by the community over there. Okay. So in a way, when I came back, that time students were saying, sir, these are the problems of those community, but for us, some other problems are also there within us. So when we are trying to solve their problems, who will solve our problems? So then we started some sort of interaction with the students, NSS volunteers as well. Yes, you come up with your problems, we will try to solve it. That gives me the idea that when I engage a class, that time whole class may not be in the same mindset. Some of the students may not be in a mind frame to listen to me as well because of their problems. So when we used to discuss, that time I realized, yes, this is area where we must focus upon. So that is, I mean, when we try to solve somebody else's problem, that time we realize there is a problem in us also. So then I try to discuss my problems with someone else. So
I was about to ask.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so that is the discussion definitely helps a lot.
Yeah, that is true. But when you pitched this idea, saying that I want to do something like this to the boards or to the people, concerned people, were they okay with it in the initial aspect? Because there's always a give and take. There's always a return which people will look at. Here, the return is perhaps good mental health. I mean, that's about it, right? So, did it take a lot of convincing, or were they okay with it in the...
No, it didn't take much of the convincing thing, because in the past couple of years we had gone through a very challenging time because of the COVID, and that COVID brings this problems on very front. Because those 2 years are very challenging, then we find that definitely students are having some problems. Now also we can see that the students in these 2 years, they don't have that kind of exposure also to go somewhere to discuss their problems with someone else. So that's why this problem is more than the earlier years. So now I could convince it immediately because of this one particular
we've all been
period.
through it. Yeah, true. So lastly, now I want to know from you, of course, you have a vision wherein you want to ensure a balance between academics, yes, great, but apart from that, also well-being of the student and the manager and people at managerial positions as well. But what next? What do you aim for as a director, or as S.S.Dhure, what do you want to achieve more?
Yeah, whenever, definitely as a teacher, as a director, I always feel happy when my students are doing very well in their life, in their career. More than that, I would be more happy if they are a very good human being with values and ethics and all these things. When they come up with such a nice person, so that makes me more happier than any other thing.
Do you have you had students who have walked up to you and said that thank you, sir, for changing my life in a certain way?
Many. Because there are many students. I feel proud to say that I can change the life of one student. That is also more than enough. But I have many more students here who come to me and say that, sir, because of that one particular session, one particular activity. More than sessions, it is the activity. So whatever the activities we are doing, those activities are very helpful.
Right.
So in session we
Like,
don't find.
what kind of activities are we talking about?
So this is like in NSS we go to the
okay.
camp. In here
Okay,
also we
just
have
for them to.
yes,
like,
just for them to get in. Because in sessions we don't try. I mean we don't get that kind of interaction, but in activities we do get.
Yeah. So lovely. I mean, we want directors like them then in all colleges, so that there is a well balance of studies plus good mental health. But thank you so much
Thank
for
you
talking
so
to
much.
me, and I hope that you keep doing this lovely work because it's
Yes, thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Now I would request you please to sign this for us before we end this. Lovely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind. If you like this video, then you can like, share and subscribe with chat.